On the night of April 1st, 2006, a 27-year-old medical student named Brian Shaffer vanished without a trace after walking into a bar and never walking back out. In a place monitored by security cameras, without signs of struggle or an exit, how does someone just disappear? This is the bizarre and unsolved case of Brian Shaffer. Brian Shaffer was just Brian, a kid from Pickerington, Ohio, born February 25th, 1979. He grew up with his parents, Randy and Renee, and his younger brother, Derek. People who knew him will tell you Brian was the kind of guy who could walk into a room and instantly make friends. He loved music. Pearl Jam was his band. He even had this dream of starting his own band one day, traveling to some warm, tropical place, just leaving Ohio winters behind. But Brian wasn't just a daydreamer. He was smart, driven. He finished a degree in microbiology at Ohio State, and in 2004, he started medical school there. It was intense, exhausting, but he was making it work. While in med school, Brian started dating Alexis Wagner. She was also a med student, and they quickly became serious. Friends thought they were the perfect couple, smart, funny, totally in sync. Then in March 2006, just weeks before everything happened, tragedy hit. Brian's mom, Renee, passed away from a rare form of cancer. She had been the emotional anchor for the family. Losing her was devastating. Those close to him said Brian was trying to stay strong, but the grief was there. You could see it in his eyes sometimes. Still, he was pushing forward. The semester was almost over. Spring break was coming, and Brian and Alexis had plans to fly to Miami. A little escape from reality. The night of March 31st, 2006 started out like any other Friday. It was the weekend before spring break, and Brian, he was ready to unwind. Friday, March 31st, 2006. The streets of Columbus are alive with spring energy. Students are getting ready for a week off. Bars are full. Music spills out onto the sidewalks. Brian starts the night having dinner with his dad, Randy, at a steakhouse. They talk about classes, life, the upcoming Miami trip. Randy notices Brian looks a little tired. Med school had been wearing him down. Still, there's a smile on his face. Around 9 o'clock, dinner wraps up. Brian tells his dad he's going out with friends. They say goodbye, and that's the last time Randy will ever see his son. Brian meets up with his friend Clint Florence at a campus area bar called the Ugly Tuna Saloona. It's on the second floor of a building in the South Campus Gateway. You take an escalator up to the entrance, and a security camera watches the main doorway. They hang out for a bit. At some point, Brian calls Alexis, who's visiting family in Toledo. It's a short, sweet conversation. Everything seems normal. After a few drinks, the guys decide to go bar hopping. They head to a couple of other places nearby. Along the way, they meet up with a friend named Meredith Reed. She gives them a ride back to the Ugly Tuna sometime after 1 a.m. The camera shows them going back inside. It's about 1:15 in the morning now. Closing time is just 45 minutes away. This is where the story takes a sharp, chilling turn. Brian steps outside near the top of the escalator and chats with two women. He's smiling, relaxed. They'll later tell police it was just casual small talk. Brian then turns and walks back into the bar. And here's the thing, the cameras never show him leaving. Not through the main entrance, not through the escalator, not at all. At 2 a.m., last call is made. People filter out. Clint and Meredith assume Brian left on his own, maybe went to meet Alexis. But when they can't reach him, they figure they'll just talk to him later. Later never comes. Saturday morning, April 1st, 2006. For most people in Columbus, it's just another start to the weekend. For Brian Shaffer's friends, it's weird. No texts, no calls. His phone goes straight to voicemail. Alexis Wagner wakes up in Toledo expecting a good morning call. Instead, nothing. At first, she thinks maybe Brian overslept. Maybe he's just hungover. But the hours pass, and the silence feels heavier. By Monday, April 3rd, no one's heard from Brian. He's missed classes, he's missed work, and that's when the police officially get involved. Investigators start with the obvious. Talk to his friends. Clint Florence tells them they got separated at the bar. Meredith Reed says the same. Alexis says Brian never came home, never called, never even used his credit cards. The first theory? maybe Brian wandered off drunk, fell, got hurt somewhere nearby. So police search the streets around the Ugly Tuna. They check alleys, dumpsters, construction zones. Nothing. Then they pull the security footage. And here's where the case gets strange. They can clearly see Brian going in, but no video of him coming out. The main entrance camera covers the escalator and both sides of the exit. There's no blind spot big enough for a 6'2" man to slip past without being seen. There is, however, a back door. It leads into a service area used during the bar's renovation. That space eventually connects to a construction site, but to get out that way, you'd have to navigate a dark, dangerous work zone full of debris and open elevator shafts. If Brian went that way, maybe by accident, police wonder if he could have fallen or gotten trapped. They check the site. They check nearby dumpsters. Still, nothing. Days turn into weeks. Search dogs are brought in. Police scour the Olentangy River, thinking maybe Brian somehow ended up in the water. They find no trace. His apartment is untouched. His car is still parked outside. By mid-April 2006, Brian's disappearance isn't just a missing person case anymore. It's a puzzle the police can't solve. Every lead, every clue keeps looping back to the same problem. He was seen going into the Ugly Tuna Saloona, but never seen coming out. Detectives interview more than 100 people, friends, bar staff, classmates. Alexis sits down for questioning, willingly takes a polygraph, and passes. Meredith Reed also takes a polygraph, passes. Clint Florence, Brian's closest friend that night, refuses. Says his lawyer advised against it. Clint's refusal sparks rumors. People start wondering, did he know more than he was saying? But police never publicly name him a suspect. They say there's just no evidence linking him to anything. As weeks turn into months, the case gets colder. But one strange thing happens that summer. Alexis keeps calling Brian's phone, just to hear his voicemail. One day, instead of going straight to voicemail, it rings, several times. The phone pings off a cell tower in Hilliard, about 14 miles from Columbus. Police track it down but can't pinpoint an exact address. Verizon later says the ringing could have been a technical glitch, not proof the phone was active. Then in 2008, 2 years after Brian vanished, tragedy strikes again. His father, Randy Shaffer, dies in a freak accident when a tree falls on him during a storm. Soon after, someone posts a condolence message on Randy's online obituary. It's signed, "Love, Brian, U.S. Virgin Islands." For a moment, hope surges. Could Brian really be alive, living somewhere tropical, just like he dreamed? The joy is short-lived. Investigators trace the post to a public computer in Franklin County, Ohio. It's a hoax. Investigators clarified that the location where the computer had been used to send the message did not require users to log in before use. So the chances of investigators locating the individual responsible is very low. The case is now years old. No sightings, no confirmed leads. But theories, there are plenty. When a case has no hard evidence, no witnesses, and no closure, the mind starts filling in the blanks. With Brian Shaffer, the blanks are huge. Over the years, a handful of main theories have risen to the top. In 2021, the FBI releases new age progressed images, showing what Brian might look like in his 40s. The hope is someone, somewhere, will recognize him. Brian's case remains open. 19 years later, no one can say for sure whether he's alive or dead. His friends and family just want one thing: answers. Somewhere, someone knows what happened in those final minutes before 2 a.m. Until they come forward, Brian Shaffer will remain one of the most enduring mysteries in American true crime. Welcome to True Crime with Stark Tales, the channel where we dive deep into the most unsettling cases. We're on a mission to hit 1,000 subscribers, and every single one helps keep these stories alive. If you enjoy true crime content like this, hit subscribe and join the community.